Hey guys, Dalek44 here. I need no introduction, but I got one anyway. Well, it's someone's birthday today. Whose birthday, you may ask? Well, it's the birthday of a very popular mouse, of an icon of a... Hey guys, Dalek44 here. I need no introduction, but I got one anyway. Well, it's a very special mouse's birthday today. And I'm talking, of course, about that mouse who is a popular American icon, and the mouse who made the Disney name what it is today, Mickey Mouse. That's right, America's most famous mouse has reached its 90th birthday. That wonderful mouse who's been entertaining children and adults all around the world since 1928, with his famous cartoons, theatrical films, and various appearances and references in other forms of media. But which of his cartoons are the best? Which ones are the funniest, the most influential, and all around just most entertaining to watch? Well, seeing as it's our favourite mouse's birthday, we're going to look at the top 10 of them here tonight. Cartoons from shows like Disney's House of Mouse and the most recent Mickey Mouse cartoon won't be included on this list, as they deserve a list of their own. This list is just going to focus on theatrical shorts and a couple of shorts from Mickey Mouse works, since those are short films. And they film the most like the classic Mickey Mouse cartoons in my opinion. So with that said, sit back and enjoy my top 10 Mickey Mouse cartoons. Number 10. The Nifty 90s from 1941. Set in the springtime sometime in the 1890s, Mickey and Minnie Mouse happen to meet each other in a public park one day. Mickey attracts Mickey by intentionally dropping her handkerchief so Mickey will return it to her. They attend a show where they first see a slideshow presentation called Father Dear Father, followed by Fred and Ward, two clever boys from Illinois. After the show is over, Mickey and Minnie cruise the roads into the countryside in a brass-era car. This cartoon is a perfect representation of what life would have been like in the 1890s as far as I know. With people taking strolls in the park, going to see shows in the theatre, and riding around on cars and bikes. We also get to see cameos from Donald Duck, Huey, Dewey, Louie and Daisy, as well as Goofy in the cartoon, as well as the accompaniment of the song Strolling by the Park One Day, which has been heard in many other cartoons including Tom and Jerry. But one of my most favourite moments in this cartoon is Fred and Ward's show, where it's basically them just prancing about and telling bad jokes.
Say, Fred, why does a chicken cross the road? I don't know, Ward. Why does a chicken cross the road? To get to the other side.
And I don't know why, but for some reason the bit with Ward and Fred always cracks me up every time I watch this cartoon. They're just really funny guys. Bright, colourful and full of 1890s stuff, the Nifty 90s is one of Mickey's finest cartoons ever made in the 1940s.
Hey, Brown Eye, who was that lady I saw you with last night? That was no lady, that was my wife.
Number 9. Mr. Mouse Takes a Trip from 1940. Leaving for vacation, Mickey Mouse and Pluto arrive at a train station in Burbank, California. They board a westbound train, but are both immediately kicked off by the conductor, played by Pete, since dogs aren't allowed. Mickey at this point decides to smuggle Pluto on board the train by squeezing him into his suitcase. But as soon as Pete finds out the truth that Mickey snuck Pluto on board the train, the four have a chase on board the train, going through many antics until Mickey and Pluto reach their final destination. I've always loved the Mickey Mouse cartoons where Pete is the main antagonist, since he's always fun to watch. Whether he has a decent job or is a criminal or whatever, you can tell that he's always going to be funny in whatever cartoon he's in. And I absolutely love the way he lures Pluto out of the suitcase.
You know, I used to have a little cat once, and when it was left all alone, it'd cry, meow.
Pete meowing like a cat is quite ironic since technically he is a cat.
And just all the clever things Mickey and Pluto go through just to lead Pete off their trail is just so entertaining to watch. And another reason I love this cartoon is probably to do with my love of trains.
Well, obviously.
So whether you like train rides or not, Mr. Mouse Takes a Trip is one of the finest Mickey Mouse cartoons ever made, and I still look forward to watching it every time it's on.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. You won't be disturbed again.
Number 8. Mickey's Airplane Kit from 1999. Mickey orders a do-it-yourself airplane kit as a special surprise for a date with Minnie Mouse. Rushed for time, he ignores the instructions and pays a bitter price when the plane falls apart during their date. This was made during the height of Mickey Mouse Works, and some might say that it's a remake of Plane Crazy from 1928. And in some cases they are right, since it is very similar to Plane Crazy, with Mickey building an airplane, taking Minnie up on the plane ride, and things going wrong while on the flight. It's the kind of scenario where someone gets an airplane kit or whatever type of kit and just ignores the instructions completely and leads them into trouble. For some reason those kind of things always seem funny to me.
Well, I'm sure you followed the instructions this time. Not like that boat you did.
A great remake to a great cartoon from his starter days, Mickey's Airplane Kit is one of the funniest cartoons from Mickey Mouse Works, and I always look forward to putting it on.
That wasn't so bad, and I didn't even have to use all the parts.
Number 7. Runaway Brain from 1995. On a dark and stormy night, Minnie visits Mickey while he's playing the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs video game and is angry to find that he's forgotten the anniversary of their first date due to his addiction to the game. Mickey comes up with a last-minute idea to take her to a miniature golf course and shows her a newspaper ad for it. But she instead notices another ad for a trip to Hawaii, which costs $1,000, and mistakes it for Mickey's gift. Desperate to make the cash, Mickey applies to a newspaper ad from a mad scientist named Dr. Frankenolly, played by Kelsey Grammer, for a day of mindless work, which would pay $1,000. The Mad Doctor reveals a plan to switch Mickey's brain with that of a 30-foot tall creature named Julius, played by Pete.
Coincidence? I think not!
The experiment causes an explosion that kills Frankenolly, but the brain transfer is successful, with Mickey's mind ending up in Julius's giant body and Julius in control of Mickey's body. The dim-witted and insane Julius finds Mickey's wallet and notices a picture of Minnie, whom he instantly becomes smitten with.
Of course!
You could say that this cartoon is a remake of The Mad Doctor, since it involves a mad scientist and science experiments. Except this one's a lot less darker than The Mad Doctor was, but it can be quite frightening at times, especially with the opening titles and seeing Mickey look like a monster with Julius's brain in his head. And the first time I saw this short cartoon was years ago when I went to see a Goofy movie at the cinemas, since this played before it, and it's been one that's ingrained in my mind for many years to come.
Having Sideshow Bob himself voice a villain in a Mickey Mouse cartoon is an instant win. I mean, the guy's voice just kicks major ass.
Oh, don't be shy. It's not just a job.
It's an adventure!
I hate adventure!
Perfect! You're hired!
And I think it's also the first time we've seen Minnie Mouse in a rather skimpy-looking swimsuit.
And it's not very often that you see Minnie Mouse in a bikini like that in cartoons. I wonder why. Oh yeah, right. Fanfiction and the furries.
Full of mad doctors, crazy wacky experiments, and a giant monster played by Pete, Runaway Brain is one of the most entertaining and quite frightening at times Mickey Mouse cartoons ever made.
Happy anniversary, Minnie.
You're so romantic.
Number 6. Lonesome Ghost from 1937. The Ajax Ghost Exterminators, Mickey, Donald and Goofy, are hired by telephone to drive out 4 ghosts from a haunted mansion that has long been abandoned. Unbeknownst to them, they were hired by the ghosts themselves, who are bored because nobody has visited the house since they have been haunting it for a long time, either because none of the locals were scared, or they had scared them all away, as one of the ghosts puts it. And they toy with the exterminators at every turn. This is one of those fun cartoons that you could watch on Halloween or any time of the year and get really entertained by. In fact, the first time I saw this was in the movie Mickey's House of Villains, and I just loved the antics the ghosts get up to playing tricks on Mickey, Donald and Goofy. And is it just me, or was this the original Ghostbusters inspiration?
Rewatching this cartoon, it almost seems like these 3 were the original Ghostbusters. fact, Goofy says the line similar to how they would a few years later on.
I ain't scared of no ghosts.
If that's not proof that this cartoon was the inspiration for Ghostbusters, I don't know what the hell is.
Whether this is the original inspiration for the Ghostbusters movies or not, The Lonesome Ghost is one of the most entertaining and chilling cartoons of the Mickey Mouse era, and is a great watch.
I ain't scared of no ghosts.
Number 5. Building a Building from 1933. Mickey is operating a steam shovel at a construction site. Minnie appears on a cart pulled by Pluto. She is selling box lunches for workers for 15 cents. After Mickey causes mishaps for his foreman Pete, Pete has had enough and starts strangling Mickey until the horn goes off for lunch. Mickey settles down to eat a fish sandwich, but has it stolen by Pete. What a bastard. Minnie offers to give him a box lunch for free, with
A nose, a macaroni, and a hot strawberry pie.
and corn on the cob. As Mickey is eating the lunch, Peter ducks Minnie from above a crane. And of course Mickey has to save her butt from Pete. This was one of the first black and white Mickey Mouse cartoons I'd ever seen, thanks to YouTube. And it's definitely one of the funniest black and white cartoons of Mickey Mouse I'd ever seen, with the various antics that Mickey goes through after being yoo-hooed and eyed by Minnie while causing mishaps for Pete. And I especially love Pete's reaction to Mickey when he ruins his blueprints with bricks.
Whoa, watch your language there, Pete. Next we're going to be going into fiddle-dee-dee territory.
And it's another one of those cartoons where I can't get enough of the sweet moments between Mickey and Minnie, especially when she watches him eat the corn on the cob. That's just really adorable. A fun cartoon about building buildings and loved ones and rescues and escapes. Building a Building is one of the funniest black and white Mickey Mouse cartoons from the 1930s, and I always look forward to watching it whenever I have the urge to watch a building cartoon. Number 4. The Nutcracker from 1999. When Maria, played by Minnie, is captured by the Mouse King, played by Donald, a beloved Nutcracker doll turns into a handsome Prince Mickey and rescues her from becoming the Mouse Queen. This familiar story is told by a comical narrator played by John Cleese. The first time I ever saw this cartoon was in the direct-to-DVD film Mickey's Magical Christmas Snowed In at the House of Mouse. And as I've mentioned in the review, this is one of the funniest cartoons I've seen from House of Mouse and Mickey Mouse Works.
I mean, like I said, having John Cleese as the narrator is an instant win. Especially when he has his little arguments with Professor Von Drake.
Excuse me, I'm trying to narrate.
Well, you said you wanted someone to describe all of this stuff here.
That was a rhetorical question. Pretend like I'm not here.
How do you expect me to ignore a big booming voice that's blabbering all of the time?
Just ignore me.
And it's also hilarious how John Cleese gets Donald to stay in the cartoon by telling him that the villain wins in the end, when it turns out to be a pile of bullshit. With hilarious moments and great fourth wall jokes, The Nutcracker is one of the funniest Christmas Mickey Mouse cartoons ever made from Mickey Mouse Works.
Right, just for that, I'm kicking you out of the story.
Wow!
Number 3. Mickey's Remedy from 1999. Donald decides to give Mickey a try at controlling his 3 nephews, Huey, Dewey and Louie, but Mickey has more than a few surprises up his sleeve, including the threat of Bulbanian brain fever. This is one of my favourite cartoons from Mickey Mouse Works and House of Mouse because it has Mickey looking after Donald's nephews for the first time, since they normally have to deal with Donald Duck. But this is the first time they've ever been looked after by Mickey, and they of course take advantage of Mickey's good nature, until he finds out the truth and goes through a great plan in the name of sweet revenge.
Seeing Mickey go through all this trouble just to teach Huey and Dewey a lesson really is like Bugs Bunny antics. So that just proves that Who Framed Roger Rabbit is canon in Mickey Mouse's universe.
Yes, the antics he goes through just to get revenge on the boys is very Bugs Bunny-ish, almost as if he took inspiration from the bunny himself. A great cartoon with great gags and a great payback from Mickey on the boys. Mickey's Remedy is one of the funniest cartoons from Mickey Mouse Works and House of Mouse, and I still look forward to watching it whenever it's on. Number 2. Around the World in 80 Days from 1999. You may remember I've done a full review of this cartoon a few years ago, so you'll get the full details of my thoughts on it there. But it's basically following the adaptation of the original story, as Mickey Mouse must circle the globe in 80 days in order to receive his inheritance and save an orphanage he runs. This has many characters, including Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, and Scrooge McDuck as the villain, as well as a variety of characters making cameos. But what makes this one stand out to me is Mickey and Minnie's role in the film, with Mickey as the main hero and Minnie as the Princess of Bombay. This is one of my favourite roles of Minnie Mouse I've ever seen, especially with that cute little Indian outfit that she has.
This is one of my favourites for a number of reasons that I've mentioned in my review of the cartoon. It's a fun story, Scrooge McDuck is the villain, and Minnie Mouse has one of the cutest outfits I've ever seen. And there's a really sweet moment between her and Mickey near the end of the cartoon.
As I said, you'll hear my full thoughts on the special in my original review of this. But Around the World in 80 Days is one of my all-time favourite Mickey Mouse cartoons, and I always look forward to putting it on whenever I feel like putting it on.
I love you, not money.
Gosh, really?
You bet.
And my number one Mickey Mouse cartoon is Mickey's Christmas Carol from 1985. You'll get the full details of what I think of this cartoon in my review I did a few Christmases ago. But this basically follows the story of the classic Charles Dickens story of Scrooge McDuck, who plays Ebenezer Scrooge, who gets visited by three spirits of Christmas and is shown the error of his ways. This was one of the first Christmas Carol adaptations I'd seen in my childhood, with the other one being the Muppet Christmas Carol. But this is among one of the best for many reasons. The various cameos of Disney characters, not just Mickey Mouse characters, but characters from other Disney films like Robin Hood and so on and so forth. Getting Scrooge McDuck to play the main character of Ebenezer Scrooge is an instant win. And the fact that they managed to fit the whole story into a half-hour short. And that's not a very easy thing to do these days.
As I said in my review, this is one of the first versions of the Christmas Carol I'd ever seen as a kid. And looking back at it today, it still holds up. Especially having Scrooge McDuck as Ebenezer. That's just really fitting to me.
And all the casting choices are really good casting choices in my opinion. You've got Scrooge McDuck as Ebenezer Scrooge, Mickey Mouse as Bob Cratchit, Donald Duck as Nephew Fred, Goofy as Jacob Marley, Jiminy Cricket as the Ghost of Christmas Past, Willie the Giant as the Ghost of Christmas Present, and Pete as the Ghost of Christmas Future. This cartoon has all the things you'd expect from a Christmas Carol adaptation. Whimsical moments, scary moments, really scary moments at times, and just an all-around happy ending that shows us that even the grouchiest of men can change their ways on Christmas. A great adaptation to a great Dickens story, Mickey's Christmas Carol is one of the best Mickey Mouse cartoons I've ever seen, as well as my number one Mickey Mouse cartoon of all time. And I always look forward to putting it on every Christmas.
And those are my top 10 Mickey Mouse cartoons. Are there any that I miss out? Well, put them down in the comment section below and let me know what your favourite Mickey Mouse cartoons are. I'm Dalek44, wishing you a happy birthday, Mickey. Thanks. There's no reason I feel like watching a Mickey Mouse cartoon. Which one should it be? How about Around the World in 80 Days? For like the 100th time since I've been around.